If you're listening right now to the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we know something about you. We know that you're obsessed with Little House on the Prairie.
For more than half a century, Little House on the Prairie, the series and the books have been bright lights for people all over the world who seek out goodness, decency, and human connection.
Here on the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast, we celebrate everything that made Little House so special.
The stories, the characters, the actors, and the messages that have made Little House iconic family television.
And a perfect counterpoint to a world that feels like it's going off the rails every day.
Where is Michael Landon when we need him most? I'm your host, Pamela Bob.
And I'm your prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim.
And I'm Dean Butler.
Our hashtag imaginary boyfriend. Join us for our loving, quirky, and often irreverent conversations about the finest family drama in the history of television.
And the imperfect people who made it that way.
In this third season, we are extremely grateful for the support of VisitSeeMeValley.com for their continuing sponsorship of Little House on the Prairie and the Little House 50th Anniversary podcast. Well, hi there, bonnet heads. How are you doing? This is Pamela Bob, creator and star of Living on a Prairie, and your host, and also super fan extraordinaire, I suppose. And listen, this is super exciting because, first of all, happy 2026, and second of all, this is officially our first episode of season 3 of the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary podcast. And as we were just talking about, we thought we'd only be doing 50 episodes total for this entire thing. So this has been fun. This has been fun. Let me introduce you guys. You know him. That's right. She's our prairie bitch. We love her so much. Allison Arngrim is here. And our hashtag imaginary boyfriend, keeping it real, is Dean Butler. Hi, guys. Happy New Year.
Hello, everybody.
How is it 2020?
Good day from Northern California.
Good day. Oh, yes, Dean's in Northern
How is
California.
it season 3? How is it 2026? Why am I old? What happened?
I don't
understand.
know what happened.
It was like, I don't know, 1987, 5 minutes ago.
Same.
Wasn't it?
Same.
Where did it go?
I especially feel like since 2000 until now, like the past 26 years is all a total blur. I can't tell you the difference between 2004 and 2014. Or it all feels like just one giant blur, which is weird because a lot of life happened during that time.
Yeah.
And anything after 2020, we now just talk about before 2020 and after 2020. And
Yes.
people talk about when things happen and go, I have no idea what you're talking
nope.
about. Wait, was that before 2020 or after? Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Just put it in one of those two slots because I have no idea what the hell happened.
I wonder if it's because our media landscape has become such a. There's so much. You know, you used to look forward to Septembers with the start of a new television season. You had those sort of the new car models came out, the new television season, football season, these things. Well, television is such a huge cultural marker. And it all, I mean, yes, there is those that premiere time happens each year, but it's not the big deal.
It's not the same. Yeah, that appointment TV doesn't exist
it's just
anymore.
not. Yeah,
Yeah,
it just flows. We're just
interesting
flowing
theory.
content.
And
one
maybe
season
that's
into
what it
another
is.
season.
The award shows move. When are the Oscars? When are they? February?
They
When are the
used to
Oscars?
always
I
be
think it's-
around my birthday in March because I remember
They were
thinking
like
that
the
was so
same
cool. And then
time
they
every-
moved them to February. And then I just read they're moving the Oscars in another year or two to like YouTube. Like it's not even going to be on
Emmys
net.
first. The Emmys first.
Oh.
I think the Oscars, but the Emmys are like, oh yeah, we're going to YouTube.
Holy
Everyone's
moly.
going to YouTube because
There's-
award
there-
shows are
the
are
numbers. The
dinosaurs.
numbers aren't there.
Nobody.
The numbers
will
aren't there.
I
watch
mean, that
awards.
is truly an end of an era. That is an end of an era.
The whole concept. Okay, who runs Miss America? Is Miss America on the TV anymore?
No.
That was like a huge thing. You
That's
make
been gone
popcorn
for a
with it.
long
I
time.
used to have
All
Miss
of
America
the
parties.
beauty pageants. Yes, we will all get together. Even if we got together to laugh
Can you
at it,
imagine
and
the
make popcorn and
commentary coming from my
giggle and
den?
shriek and everything. But you'd watch it. I'm still mad they took Las Floristas Ball off the TV. You know they still have it. It still goes on. It's just nobody cares and nobody tapes it. But Las Floristas Ball was right up there with Rose Parade and Miss America.
Oh.
sort of a combo of the two. It was like the Rose Parade. Different cities were represented by giant sort of float things made of flowers, but they were on people's heads. These women went up the aisle with these giant styrofoam platforms, size of coffee table, on their head with, and now Miss Monrovia with, there's this huge, a bridge and some flowers.
Well,
yeah. It was the best show ever. And that's not on. All of the award shows, all the pageantry is dead apparently. And they won't run any of it. And now they're even saying Emmys and Oscars are going to have to go to YouTube. And I remember a friend of mine, who's maybe a little older, said, "Oh, how will they get the numbers?" Well, there'll be more of them than
there will be. There actually will be. Yeah, on YouTube. That's true.
I just would say, just a cultural marker, I judged Miss America in 1981.
Yes!
Miss America,
Yes.
the big
I was a
the
Miss
big
America
matzo ball.
judge. Yes, in 1981 when I was, what was I, 25 years old.
Ew,
but it was
gross.
fun.
No.
Gross.
What a feast that was.
It would be great.
No straight male 25-year-old should ever be judging a beauty pageant. Ever.
Wow. I'm telling you, what a field day that week in Atlantic City was for me. That was like,
Beautiful
I mean,
women in
wow.
high heels.
I can't go into detail about how great that was.
Oh,
Now,
Dean,
did
were
they
there
give
some
you weird-
rendezvous happening? Interesting.
rules?
Oh my
Did they
God,
give
he's
you
not
weird
talking. He's
rules?
sipping the tea. He's sipping the tea.
Because I judged
I'm not spilling the tea, however.
Nope, he's sipping the tea.
I judged a runner-up for. I judged one of the cities or something that was going to be Miss America, Miss California. I judged some regional thing. I was on a panel, and they had like this list of things like the distance between the shoulder blades. It was bonkers. They had a list of things you were supposed to look for, and I went, I don't think anybody's looking at that.
No, we have such a different. I mean, it's such an anachronistic thing.
It's horrible.
It's such another time, and I just don't think you can get. I mean, there's still Miss Universe. That's still going on. I think the other parts of the world, there's still an openness.
Oh yeah, people love
to all of that, but I think it's much more challenging in the U.S. to do that and to put women in those situations today, and they just won't do it, and good for them.
And it's not. It's a scholarship program, as I used to say. But
And it was that. There was a lot of scholarship money that was distributed.
It's not appointment TV. Don't invite all your friends over and make popcorn and go, oh my God, it's on tomorrow. It was a
that's
thing.
because they got rid of the talent section. And once they got rid of the talent section of Miss America, there was no reason to watch it.
I thought there was the swimsuit went away.
The swimsuit, I think, went away after the talent. And if you don't have the talent, then what's the point of watching any of this? Because that was the best part.
I agree. I think we could spend an hour talking about this.
Or we can talk about Little House on the Prairie.
Let's get into this.
I'll bring it back to the Prairie, being that Prairie took you. The link between Prairie and the Miss America pageant for you is only 1 degree of separation. So that's weird. But that's how we bring it back to Little House on the Prairie. all the benefits of the Prairie. There you go. 1981, Dean. Was it 81? Is that what you said?
81.
Okay.
81. Yeah.
Well,
on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, but let's get on. Let's move on because I keep coming back to it.
Let's get that image out of our heads, everybody. Here we go. But
I dream about it at night.
I bet you do. Okay, all right, back to the Prairie now. Let's keep it clean. So we started this podcast at January of 2023. No, end of 2023. No, January.
We started it, I think, in December of 2023. Sort of it was late fall of 2023.
Yes. So here we are, beginning of 2026. This is episode 80. We have done 80 of these. This will be our 80th episode. And, 1 million downloads. Not too bad. And we have an exciting year ready for you guys. And thank you for being here with us always. So let's make a little house forever, as they say. Allison, were you just
I think
sick?
we should just jump right to the title, Pamela. We've stalled enough. Let's get into this.
All right, listen.
We vamped for
Before
days.
we say what we're doing, I have to say from UBN Go and Prairie Partners and visit SeamyValley.com and our Patreon peeps, this is the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary Podcast. Ta-da! Okay, we're back. I think we were all sick. I was sick in December. Big
Oh,
Did everybody get the thing?
Ugh.
The thing?
terrible. Everyone was sick.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Now,
we're
was
better
it
now.
was it sinuses too?
It was all sinus. It was like
Every-
4
Yeah.
weeks of
Okay.
non-time.
Everyone's
nonstop
saying, and there's
horrible.
some people saying, "Oh no, it's a head cold." No, not a head cold.
It wasn't
it's the
a cold.
head cold of doom.
Yeah.
But then you have this weird exhaustion and
Yep.
icky thing. You're
Yes,
like, that's not a head cold.
That's what I had for 4 weeks.
Yep.
It was
Boom.
terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
feeling human again, and we decided to pick an episode that was like, let's start this season off with a banger. It is a fan favorite, one of the most loved episodes of all time. Dean, which episode are we talking about today?
So we're talking. This is an interesting thing, the way this aired. I was not watching at that point. Allison, you may have some recollection of this. But today we're talking about episodes 13 and 14. It really played as a 2-hour, but it was episodes 13 and 14
Although today
of
we're just
season
doing-
1.
Today we're just
The
doing
Lord
the part
is
one.
my shepherd. Sorry, what was that?
I was
Yes,
saying today we're just doing part one.
Part
today.
one.
Right. But it all aired on the same night. It all
It
aired on
did?
December 18th, 1974.
Just sat down.
But, you know, this was occasionally done. It
Like
was
a
a
2-hour
contractual
special.
thing where
Very
you
special
would,
episode.
but I don't think it was broken with new titles. I just, but
Ooh.
But
I
now
never knew
others
that.
would have a better recollection of this. But the way this is streaming, it streams as one event. But they call it episodes 13 and 14. It debuted on December 18th, 1974. So the week before Christmas, where we did Christmas on Plum Creek. I mean, talk about, there was some emotional impact in that 2-week period on Little House on the Prairie. This episode written and directed by Michael Landon.
And it shows.
And this is absolutely one of the quintessential Little House episodes. So, Allison, what's part 1 about?
Such a Michael episode. And you know, I stayed up last night and I watched both of them together because
Yeah,
how can you
I-
not?
of course. I did too.
And
Of course.
On Amazon where I was watching it was like one, and then they went into. They said it was a separate episode. They did it with separate titles.
Same with
separate.
Peacock. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I watched it on. Okay, interesting. I watched it on Apple TV, and they put it together as one episode. But they say it's 13 and 14, but they
14.
stream it continuously.
Well, what I did
I
notice
watched
was
them.
that when I started episode 4 to the part 2, the title card did not say
Yeah.
part 2. It just said the Lord is my
Right.
shepherd. Interesting.
Okay,
Okay,
so
now
I
I
didn't even get
understand
that
why.
much. That's
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
All right, sorry,
it
Allison,
was-
go on.
So this is 13, 14 of season 1, and this really set the tone. I really did set the tone for the whole show. This was for a dramatic episode. This is what you were going to get on Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Was stuff like this. This was the biggie, directed by Michael, and it shows. Well, afraid that her new baby brother will replace her in Pa's affection. Oh, super jealousy. Laura refuses to pray for him when the infant becomes ill. When he dies, oh no, this episode's not upsetting at all. No, not at all. Jesus. When he dies, she's overwhelmed by guilt, and at the end of part 1 decides what she's going to do to make up for her lack of prayers. She writes a note and leaves. Her new friend helps her deal with her feelings and makes her special wooden cross. Well, that's more in
That's
part
part
2.
two.
Part 2. It's part 2.
Yeah.
She runs away from home and
Right.
meets her in this Borgnine, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I left that in there, but it's really, I think, because I didn't see the break and you did last night, as I watched this. Interesting that we can watch the show in 3 different platforms, get
And
3
have
different
different-
experiences of exactly how it's laying out.
Yeah.
This is the reality of our world that we live in today. So I'm thinking that the end of the episode was actually when she goes out the door and Jack is left there by the fireplace, that's the end of the episode.
And you see her walking towards the mountain. You know, the mountains on the prairie.
See, I think we're already into part 2 at that point.
No, it ends, on Peacock it ends with you see the image of her walking towards the mountains, and that's
that does make more sense, because now we know that there's what's up and where that's going. Okay, got it. So the search for Laura has begun before part 1 ends.
Yeah.
Well, no, they haven't, I don't think...
When do they interrogate Mary?
They haven't discovered that she's missing yet. We just see her leaving.
Oh, see, that's not. Wow, that is not the way it's cut.
I might have that wrong. I might be messing that up. I might be messing that up, Dean. Don't hold me to that, please.
Oh, I won't. No, no one's holding anybody to anything.
I'll end up in Prairie jail.
No, she. According to my notes, it's all that best day ever stuff at the end of 1, and part 2 starts. She writes the note.
Oh.
Really?
Oh,
that's what I have. Part 2,
oh, that's interesting. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. I was just looking at the timing of that. I mean, at the way it's streamed, I was looking at sort of 47 minutes to be the break point between the episodes. But there could be some editorial that's going on.
I don't think that's how it is on Peacock.
Okay. I have to check, because that would make sense that we do the episode is about the baby dying. And
our patrons know the answer to this question.
They sure do.
They're all laughing at
sure do.
And then she's like, it's great. And then the second episode is about her running away and finding her.
Okay.
So the break should be there. I'm going to go with
at the happy day.
Yeah.
Right. Also, when I was watching it, they cut a scene in part 2. They cut a scene in the river, and
part
I was furious.
Okay, we'll get to that next.
Well, now that we've done the whole thing, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Can
I tell you something though? I mean, before we get into like the episode. So before I started watching this, I was like, you know what? My kids have never seen this episode. This is a must-see episode. Let's sit down. Let's watch it together. And Margot did. Margot's 7. She sat down with me. But Henry, who's 15, he's a sophomore in high school. He was doing homework. He was like, Mom, I can't watch it. And I was like, okay, but his room is next to the TV room, right? So we're watching it, and of course, like, Margot's going, they have another baby? Yeah. And then she's like, the baby died? Like, she was shocked. And then Henry would kind of walk in every now and then and be like, what's happening? I'm like, okay. And then anyway, fast forward. It's 10 o'clock. Henry comes into my room to say goodnight, and we're snuggling with the dog. And he's lying down on my bed, and he's snuggling with me, and he goes, isn't it nice that, first of all, he still snuggles with me? But second of all, he goes...
That's pretty sweet, actually.
He goes, so, that episode seemed pretty interesting. And I was like, yeah, it's really good. And he was like, yeah, so what happened in that episode?
I think it's cool that he's asking the question.
He totally was.
Really great.
He was totally intrigued, because he walked in on a very dramatic part. He sees a baby is dead, and he's like, what? What is happening on the prairie? Anyway, shall we start? Shall we start? I took my own little diversion.
No, wait a minute. Haven't we already been started?
Well, sure, of course. But do we want to recap? Like, are we starting at the beginning, or do you just want to talk about stuff as it comes up?
Oh, I think we should start. The wind up to this is longer than I had remembered it.
Than the actual event. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's.
But I think that's good, because when the baby gets sick and when the baby dies, we are not expecting it. Unless you know historically that the Ingalls actually did have a son who actually died. But if
you don't know, because it's not in the books, and I guarantee you in the 70s, most humans did not know.
Yeah.
It's not in the books because Laura didn't want to talk about it because the family was devastated. Ma was still in mourning 40 years later. They were devastated. People like William Anderson knew. People who were historians knew. Some librarians knew. I didn't know.
I feel like it is in the book.
First aired, I thought maybe they made it up. Laura, sure as heck, what baby brother? She did not talk about that in the books because the family was still upset about it. But it really happened. But how many people in 74 knew that?
Huh.
As an historic matter, child mortality was so common.
Of course.
Then, I mean, this was a very different. Now it's really shocking when you lose an infant.
Yep.
But then it was very, very common, and that's why
think
people
it was
had 5, 6,
That's
7,
right.
8 children.
Right.
I mean, they.
Because if you were lucky, half of them survived.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, infant mortality
Here
in
are facts.
1874
Facts are
was
coming.
approximately 25%, or 1 in 4 babies.
Really?
In the 1870s, somewhere around, because also record keeping was between 150 to 200 children died per 1,000. In the U.S., about a 175-ish. So about out of 1,000. So about 25% of children would die, depending. And inner cities more so, poor families, places where there were a lot of disease. When the real kid died, because when this episode happened, I didn't know that they didn't make it up for the show, because I didn't know, because it wasn't in the books and nobody talked about this. It was years later. Only hardcore historians, I'm sure Bill Anderson and some librarians and historians, oh yes, the baby. But the average person in 1974 who'd maybe read the books, if that, what baby? They didn't know this happened. So this was brutal, and of course historically very accurate. When the real, child died, unfortunately, they don't really know what happened. He has a blood disease. It's like he's got leukemia.
Yeah, I was wondering if we actually know, I mean, both in the show or more importantly, historically, what actually was
real
wrong.
life, they went to visit Charles's brother in Troy, Minnesota. They were up towards Big Woods. And he got really sick. Laura, in her book, even writes a heart-rending, just crushing line about that little brother was always sick, and one day he straightened out his little body and died. And
Right.
that was
Okay, so no, I'm sorry. So where was that?
If you get a Pioneer Girl, Laura's original
Oh,
manuscript.
got it. Okay, because I knew I'd read that very line. So, all
It's
right.
in
Okay.
Later,
Okay.
but nobody was reading that then, and it was brutal. And apparently, having looked it up, 40 years later, there was someone, a whole bunch of children in that town where they were actually died like that same 2 weeks. There was something going around. He apparently, according to Laura's notes, something about diarrhea, something about like a dysentery thing.
Right.
They don't really, it's unclear where he's buried because they were visiting these people. There's no cemetery in that town.
They
and they didn't
buried
bring
him
home.
along the road.
They
I
think
Oh,
he might
boy.
be buried with the neighbor's children, because one of the neighbor's children died the same day.
Jeez.
And they had plotted a cemetery, so we're saying he may be with them. Not sure, but a whole bunch of babies died in that same 2-week period. So indeed, there was one of the many bazillions of diseases that went around and killed people in the 1800s, and that's what happened. He
That are
got
probably very,
Going around.
very manageable today, probably, most likely.
Well, yeah, I mean, for starters, his
Yeah.
diarrhea, which you would be able to
Yeah,
stop
right.
today.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Now, in I don't know if we're going to go in order, but it's the historical things. It starts great. I mean, it's such a Michael episode that opens with that bird's nest thing.
Yes.
And all the symbolism
I know
and
the
stuff.
symbolism.
birth and-
Yes, yes.
There
Yes,
are-
all the yes.
There's epic moments. It's some of my favorite lines of the entire series are in this show. Some of my favorite lines.
One of the best deals with you.
Ma and Pa, and he's doing the thing. He's going to carve a cupboard for someone. She's like, "You've never even made a thing. What are you talking about? I don't know what to charge." Ah, ha, ha, ha. And then he says he doesn't even know what to charge and Ma says, "I'm sure you'll carve better than you do business."
Yeah, burn. Burn.
Beautiful. Lots of Ma going. She's feisty. She's pregnant and feisty. Oh, also the whole thing where when you announce her pregnancy, she does not say it. She does not say it. This is 1974 when we filmed this. You were absolutely okay to say pregnant on
Okay.
TV by 1974.
Yeah.
The 50s and 60s was all sketchy, but after the 60s, after All in the Family, the
Right.
pregnant was okay. In fact, it was a big deal that they mentioned that Lucy was
Right.
with child on.
Yes,
Lucy.
that was
And she actually
landmark.
said- And she said she was having a baby, and it was I think they snuck it. The word "pregnant" got used once in the early '60s.
wild you weren't allowed
You
to
couldn't. You had to say, "We're expecting," was even pushing it, and showing a pregnant woman was "Oh, we're not sure."
What is wrong with us that was a thing?
We were really
what is
tight.
wrong?
Twin beds and everything. But Mom and Pa were sleeping in the same bed by then. So at 74, we're and she, you can say pregnant, and people by 74 absolutely talk about that. She does not. She does not say. She doesn't say anything. she starts going, well, I'll be gaining weight. And he goes, what are you talking about? Your whole family's thin. You're so tiny. And what? Well, there's one way. And then he does that Michael Landon take that we all love, that look. And she does the smile, wink, 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 wink. And they go, you mean, yes, they all go to pieces. And they never say, I am with child, I am pregnant, nothing, just a baby. That's it, right. Which is brilliant that they took it all the way back to like it's the 1940s or 50s and didn't say, well, it's 1974, she can say, I am pregnant. They didn't. They went back and made it totally unspoken. It was beautiful. It was
very sweet.
I loved it.
It also, can I say just a little tiny quick personal story? It reminded me of when... Okay, I found out I was pregnant with Henry early in the pregnancy. Like, maybe I was 2 weeks pregnant when I found out. Like, maybe. It was, for both pregnancies, actually, I found out immediately. But, so it was so early, I was like, I'm not telling, I mean, obviously my husband knew, but like, I was like, I'm not telling anyone anything. So we happened to be we went to my parents' house for dinner. And at the dinner table, you know, they had wine, they had this beautiful salad that they made that had feta cheese in it. These are two things I now cannot eat, right? Because you can't eat those things when you're pregnant. So we're at the dinner table and they're like, here, honey, have some wine. I was like, no, thanks. And they were like, oh, okay. And then they're like, here, have the salad. And I was like, no, thanks. And I don't know, they must have been really proud of this salad because they were like, eat the salad. And I was like, no, I really don't want it. And they're like, the salad. Like they were really pushing the freaking salad on me. And it was like they were wearing me down. And I just sort of put my head down and Hal and I just sort of started laughing and I couldn't. And then they realized like, you're pregnant. And my father had exactly the same reaction that Michael Landon had, where he jumped out of his chair and just took me by the face. And it was just very sweet. I loved his reaction. Michael Landon's a big face holder in this whole series.
Big face grabber.
It's so masculine. I love it. The way he does it, of course. I wouldn't want any man to just put their hands on my face.
He knows that you do, and that's why he...
Yep. We have some sexy paw stuff in the begining of this episode. I am sorry. I hate to bring it down to my level, but...
It's so much hot paw in this episode.
My God. And I did not remember any of... I don't think I've watched these episodes probably in like a decade or two. You know, then it goes straight to Pa shirtless in bed, and it is there. It's too much, you guys. It's so beautiful.
We're so bad, but it's a great shot. He is in bed. He's making notes. He's building stuff, and even Karen, what are you doing, honey? And he is so good. I'm sorry.
I have no comment on this.
Yes,
I mean,
you can appreciate a beautiful man. You can.
Oh no, of course, no. I mean, look, yeah, no question. I mean, that was. Yeah, I mean, this was really a lovely moment. I mean, this is beautiful, and
between him and
it's so interesting
he
how
happens to be shirtless.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It's also. Let's think about this. It's also like heading into winter. It's probably although it doesn't look like it. Little House is never.
No, it's perpetual spring in Little House.
Yeah, unless it's a blizzard and then it's cold.
Right.
But because the next week in the series was Christmas.
Well, right. So that made me wonder about the time lapse too, because she says we're expecting in 6 more months, so she's 3 months pregnant. So
he didn't tell him for 3 months,
right? Totally. So
which would have been sort of normal for today. People.
So we just skipped the winter. Is that what we're assuming? We just skipped over winter, and it's now spring or summer when the baby comes.
Yeah,
that's like in the books.
I mean, you look at the episode; it's clearly spring.
Right.
Majorly. The birdie in the
things are lush and actually depending on where you are, it's beautiful when Laura goes to the mountain. It's very dry. Well, so there's time passage.
Yeah, but if
there's
it's
time
spring
passage
and
because
she's
it's
already
very dry.
But if it's spring and she's already 3 months pregnant, that don't make no sense.
Timelines are fluid.
Yeah,
if you read the books, Laura never says her age to like Little Town on the Prairie.
Oh yeah.
She has birthdays and you just go, and how old are you? Oh, we're not gonna
right.
No. What year is it? What day is it? How old is anybody? She goes, and then it was Christmas. And it's like, really? The children didn't notice that it was December.
Right.
No. And so in the book she's like, I'm gonna nail down any dates in this thing.
It doesn't matter.
So that's sort of sticking to it, actually.
Right. This is sort of a Galaxy Quest conversation that we're having right now.
It is. What year is it? I love that they get straight to paw with the no shirt right after Prairie.
Oh my God.
And I swear to you, every woman in America went, and that's why she's pregnant now.
Sure is. And I just didn't remember that part. So when it all of a sudden went from like this touching scene to shirtless paw, and it I don't know, I'll get off of this topic in just 1 second, I promise.
You can stay with this, Pamela. This is really powerful stuff for you.
No, it was the way he was in bed too. It was like he was on his side. It wasn't just like chest out to the wind. It was like it was particularly intimate and very sexy, sexual. The interaction between them.
They're super, super young in love couple all through this. She's so pretty in this. He is so handsome in this. They really go with the beautiful young couple in love. You're like, of course they're having a baby. Yeah, they should have 20 children by now. Look at them.
Also interesting, though, there's a lot of, and I, again, watching this as an adult and as a mom today in 2026, totally different experience than watching it before. But also interesting about like the gender discussions that they have in this episode too. Of, at the dinner table, and he keeps alluding to it. The baby is a he, and she says something like, "I'd be more." He said, "I'd be upset if you called me an it," and she said, "I'd be more upset if I was a girl and they called me a boy." And I was like, "Oh." Wow, well, that's a conversation. And then the other thing was, and then Laura wanting to be a boy, like that conversation of her going, well, they call me a tomboy. I'm much more like a boy, right? I'm a boy, right? I'm a boy. And it was like, my God, this is really intense.
Laura was the son. Their relationship, and that's going to come up again. Laura was sort of like Paul's son in this kooky way, and she knew she's going to be displaced and fixed. But like, okay, one of the things I heard about the It was that, okay, there is that thing where a lot of guys really do go, I'd like a boy. I just really want a boy. At one point when she says with the baby, when he says he's beautiful, she goes, well, he's you. People want to see themselves.
Right.
The moms want to see a little girl. So there is that. Guys do want to see themselves, want to see the baby. That happens. There are guys who go, no, I would like a little girl.
Oh, I'm sorry. So women don't want to see themselves in the.
They do. They want a little girl out there. They want to see themselves. People do.
I don't know if you've ever
really
seen
common.
on like social media, there'll be like these trending montage videos of these gender reveal parties, which
is the dumbest thing anybody ever
those parties anyway.
But
these gender reveal parties where they find out, they burst the balloon or they open the cake or whatever it is, and it turns out that they find out that they're having a girl. And the reaction of the husbands finding out that it's a girl is so disgusing and offensive.
Divorce is what it is.
It's divorce making. No. Honest to God, women out there, anyone, women, man, whoever you are, anyone who is with a partner who has that horrible kind of reaction to finding out they are having a daughter, run away, run.
I'm hoping many of them are staged. For a fact, many are staged or like fake, but they're often young, kind of not too bright guys. And because
well, that sort of goes together. Young and not too bright guys sort of works together.
If your wife is announcing she's having a baby, and they're finding out if it's a boy or girl, and all the in-laws are there, and there's cameras, and they go, "It's a girl," you don't go, "Damn it," and walk out. I mean, how horrible do you have to be? They like kick over the cake and storm out of the room.
They're all these videos.
And that's why I said many of these are staged. Many of them are staged for effect. But there's people that are like that weird.
I think
but
they're I don't know.
There are normal people who just go, I'd like a boy, I'd like a girl. That's really common.
Right.
But it is good that he did not call the baby an it. Because, you can go talk to a psychologist, if the parents are calling the unborn baby an it, there's something the matter. Saying, my baby, our baby, the baby, he or she, he, switching it up.
Right.
Or just even say, well, when the baby gets here, when my son, my daughter, or that maybe they picked a name, when Nathaniel arrives. That's how people who are normal and want their baby and love their child talk. The baby, my baby. That's
and I think Michael just does what he does for clever wordplay.
Yeah, but that's also said he. But it is weird. Nobody says it. That's why she's like, well, don't be. I'm not going to say it. It is weird. And apparently, according to psychologists, statistically, if you have a parent or father who's like who continuously, like way past it, like when you already know it's a boy or a girl,
he's going,
it. You might want to run for the hills. This is someone who is not they're not emotionally, mentally attaching.
Yes.
They're not investing. They're not getting it. It's like, that's your baby. It's not an it. It's your baby. Whatever. There's something. A screw is loose because nobody calls their own kid it. They just don't. They say the baby.
Now listen,
Ferdinand,
in
boo-boo,
Pa's
whatever.
defense, there is nothing wrong with maybe going, hey, maybe this time it could be fun to have a boy since I already have 3 girls. That's totally understandable.
Normal. And she brings up the neighbors who remember they had 12 girls or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
It's totally random.
Yeah, these are really.
Dean has never thought of these
no. I mean, I'm sort of
Yeah.
kerfuffled here because this is like, as I'm watching this, I'm not ascribing, and this is Pamela. You'd say, well, you're just a man.
You're a
and
man.
this is the way you watch this.
This episode is also very, very, very written by a man. We love you, Michael Landon, but we'll get to the labor in a second. Go on, continue, Dean.
I thought she did that really, really well.
She did,
frankly.
but not a single part of it is realistic at all.
Well,
It is a screamless natural birth. It is a
1974.
screamless.
she's had 3 kids. She's had 3 kids, and I have a friend who had her baby in the front of a car because she had a couple of kids. So yes, normally childbirth takes longer and is much more painful. Involves a lot more yelling, and so that was the
Even
look
if it's your
beautiful,
4th kid, you're gonna
the
make a
sweat.
little peep
She
somewhere.
would sweat the tousled hair and look
Yes.
fabulous while you were giving birth, TV birth. So that I went, actually looks fabulous. Of course she does.
It's
And-
sort of like the episode of, and now another reference. It's the episode of Friends where Rachel is waiting, for her baby to be born, and the Asian woman comes in, and she's having, cramps, and it's just like this little squeak.
Yeah, there's people who are
I
like,
don't know if you know that episode. It's one of the funnier. It's the
I have a
episode
friend-
where where the other wife is talking about you sick bastard. I mean, you know that episode?
I
It's
have
a wonderful episode.
I have a friend who had a
Digressing on
baby.
cultural
No,
references.
it makes sense.
She got to the hospital and they were like running out like June, and she goes, I've got this. I've done this a couple of times. I have several kids. And because she was so having it by the time they hit the parking lot, she went, hang on a minute. They had to just like open the car door and stand back practically. And she was like really ready. I don't know. She said, no. I mean, yes, she was having absolute contractions and probably said, ow, a few times in the car. But the actual birth was, hold on a minute. Whoa, hey, yeah, okay, there's a baby. And there are people who just go whoosh, and it does happen.
Yes.
So there are people who don't really have pain.
And
They just
so-
go, oh, hey.
So maybe that is Ma, but I was thinking it is very, very quiet in this room. Very quiet. The slap of the baby's butt is louder than anything else coming out of that
even-
labor room. No,
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have a lovely
yeah,
conversation about though that it hurts, and the girls go, "Yeah, is it
It
painful?"
is.
Pa's like, yes.
It is 1974. It is Family Hour television.
I know, and it was
is-
very
it's
sweet.
all of that.
Yes.
That's in play here.
Yes. And I loved his nervousness waiting with the girls. Very sweet.
Yeah, it was all very sweet.
Again,
yeah. But I
ahead
mean,
of
they're
its
separated by a curtain. They're going to hear everything.
They grew up on
mean-
a farm. They
Yeah.
know where babies come. They completely,
Correct.
and they allude to that a little when they start talking about like Mary's like, well,
The egg.
Kennedy
Yeah.
says the egg, and Laura goes, not when my pony was born. Yeah,
Right. And
they
Ma
know.
concurs.
And Mary would have been there for Laura's birth and for Carrie's birth.
Right.
They know. But Pa, ahead of his time, he totally wants to be. They have to throw him out. He was going to stay through the whole birth and hold her hand. He was going to stay. He's there through the whole labor. And she actually said, no, really go. He was ready to be the modern 1870s dude and hold his wife's hand and stay through the whole thing. When in that time period, sometimes guys left the building and went somewhere else.
that was
entirely.
until the 1970s, was it not?
You couldn't get a guy in the room.
I cannot fathom the idea that the man left his partner
Gone.
who was having the
It's
baby
gone.
to go through this very tough experience without him. And also that men had no idea what women actually go through, right? Which is important. They should know what women actually go through.
Yeah.
Also, Pa.
Look, there was a game on.
Yeah. Oh God.
Got things to do. maybe I need to do a little repair around the house. I just got something. Just take care of. You do what you need to do. I'm going to do what I need to do.
I do not understand, and I felt this the second I had my first child. The first thought that came into my mind was, I cannot believe women do not run the world after what this is. This is insane. This is insane.
Person out of
women
herself.
do run the world in a different way. Women do run the world. It doesn't look like it because that's just, but I think women do run the world.
And men pretend that they don't, but Dean knows better.
Boom, there it is. Yep.
Now, and Pa, ahead of his time, medically, again, ahead of his time, he says, like, oh, boy, girl, but then he says, like, yeah, and starts laughing about the idea of even suggesting that it is up to the mother. Now, the idea that it's the man, who, whether there's a boy or girl, women only have the XX, that the mother does not make the baby male or female. She has nothing to do with it. It's all on the guy, whether you produce boys or girls, and it's really random. That wasn't really fully understood in 1874. No. Yes, if you were in London or New York, etc., maybe the doctors.
You think they knew then?
Studies.
Really? Think people understood that then?
Did they understand? They didn't know chromosomes in the 1870s.
They did not. They were starting. It's in 1906 was when they discovered the whole XY.
Oh wow!
thing.
I didn't even know it was that early.
It wasn't until the 50s that it was completely and widely accepted that it wasn't your wife's fault that you didn't have a boy. It was like the early 50s before they nailed that down, but it's 1906 before they even had a clue. So in the 1870s, he could have totally said, honey, make it a boy, and nobody would have thought he was weird. Right. But they're laughing, and she goes, yeah, I'll do my best. And Pa clearly is not saying, make it a boy. He seems to understand that it has nothing to do with her, which would be, well, about 50 years ahead of his time.
Yes, he's a
that's okay.
He's
now
smart,
you're talking. There's
awfully smart dude, because why isn't he saying, well, you've only had girls, so I guess no, he's not hanging it on her at all, which totally in the 1870s he would have been.
Interesting.
Pamela, I think we need to take a little break here.
All right.
We need to jump forward because we are in a whole birthing thing here that let's just nothing wrong with that, but we need to jump forward.
I'm loving the medical facts and I'm loving the side stories. Okay, and our viewers are with us. They know this episode backwards and forward. But anyway, shall we take a break and then we'll come back? All right. We will be right back with more Prairie.
It's great.
The Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary podcast is presented in part by visitsimiValley.com. In the movie and television capital of the world, Simi Valley is the television home of the OG Little House on the Prairie television series, and people come to Simi Valley from all over the world to feel the Little House love. Simi Valley is the home of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, celebrating the legacy of an iconic American who embodied the can-do spirit of California. Visit Simi Valley, a warm, friendly community that knows how to make their guests feel welcome. Accessible and affordable, Simi Valley is a great place to live and a great place to start your next California adventure. Simi Valley is hometown America in the Los Angeles Basin. For more information about your Simi Valley visit, go to visitsimiValley.com.
Okay, we're back. So the baby is born, and Dean, say what you just said during the break to us.
Well, so I think Michael plants a little. It's not
acorn.
An Easter egg because it's not a happy. Yeah, he foreshadows when the girls and Pa come in to the bedroom area, and Grace says, "I don't want you getting too close. We don't want too many germs in here." And the line just. There's nothing more said about it, but that's Michael again. Good writing, foreshadowing. If people are paying attention, they know that something is coming.
And Ma, the milk, when the mayor, why are you boiling the milk? Because he wasn't taking the breast milk, so they had to give him the other milk, and they're because of the germs. Now again. Apparently, the Ingalls are getting medical journals from London, New York, hot off the press, sent to their house, that they're messed up on germ theory. Because although germs certainly had been discovered before the 1870s, the idea that this was the miasma theory was still in full effect in the 1870s.
What's the miasma theory?
Remember in the books they thought like eating watermelon gave you malaria and like all these kind of wacko cuckoo things.
Wow.
You got sick because bad air, and it was, miasma. There was fumes of sickness, sort of. That was what people thought, and they were just breaking out of that in the 1870s. In 1874, around there, that's when Louis Pasteur, Lister, Robert Koch, all of them were just literally doing the work.
Wow.
In publishing the papers, going, look, it's a germ. That's why everybody's getting sick. Germ. It's not magical fog. It's not watermelons giving you malaria. It's germs. They'd kind of worked it out about like bubonic plague. They'd like figured that out, and smallpox. But even then, they weren't sure why. Like the smallpox, it was very weird. And in the 1874, if you were a doctor, Doc Baker would have known about germs. But the average person in a small town in 1874 probably didn't know that much about germs. They might have said, Miss Beadle said there's a scientist who says it's germs and not the fog that made us all ill. I mean, it was a new thing. So for the Ingalls to be, we're boiling the milk because of germs and we're keeping the baby germs. My God, these people, did they have degrees? They are
interesting.
Really on it, because literally that stuff's just being published in medical journals like that week.
Wasn't the scene just right in that area where Doc Baker talks about the frustration of being a country doctor and not having
so the babies, so this scene where she talks about the germs is when they're feeding the baby, and I was also wondering, like, why isn't she breastfeeding the baby? But I guess maybe the baby wasn't either taken to the breast or wasn't.
Was that another one? There was a cut scene or something, because I don't
know. I didn't know. I was thinking, like, why are they bottle feeding it? But shit happens when
enough. He wasn't.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So then she's feeding him and he's sucking down the milk. I mean, he's just inhaling the milk, and that's when she's like, wow, look at this. But then we find out the baby's not gaining anything. So that's the next Doc Baker visit, where he comes and he's like, something is definitely wrong. I've seen this before. There kind of is no hope for this. I don't know what it is. And yes, he exits and he says the line, sometimes a country doctor like me feels so useless.
Yes,
and
right,
leaves.
exactly.
True.
And that leads them to Mankato, and we start on Microscope, and
And the Ingalls spent a lot of time going to specialists in the big city for a poor couple living in 2 rooms.
Between Mary, just Mary herself. Right.
Who in the 1800s said, well, we'll go call in a specialist? Who did this back then? I don't think in real life the Ingalls were off to see a specialist at that rate. So they had hella insurance in 1874.
Now, one thing that we have failed to discuss, which is a major, if not the main plot point, is Laura during this entire episode, and how she is not happy that Ma is pregnant. She is not happy of the prospects of it being a boy, because she instantly assumes if it is a boy, Pa will not love her anymore, or not as much as a boy, certainly. And her again, like trying to convince Pa that she's more like a boy than a girl. I mean, it's really psychologically fascinating what this child is going through.
Did your kids, was there jealousy? Because kids will get jealous of the new baby. Laura takes it to new heights. She's really having a problem.
Yeah, she's having
There's
a
the
crisis.
regular, oh no. Kids will regress, like the 3-year-old will act like a baby, because like, oh, they like, you like babies, they'll act younger.
Yeah.
Did your kid get weird?
No, but okay, so there's an 8-year age gap between my kids.
better.
So by the time I had, and also Henry wanted a baby sister. Like, he wanted a baby sister. He didn't want a baby brother. He wanted a baby sister. So he got what he wanted. So no, but even then, the baby comes and the attention is on the baby, and you think, okay, obviously I wouldn't blame him at all if there was some sort of transitional period of wonkiness, but he never really did. But that's also just a testament to Henry. He's just a really even-keeled guy.
Yeah, that's
it's really rare. He's just a very chill person. Myself, however, I remember thinking this as a kid, and even now, if I thought, like, if my mom had said she was pregnant when I was a kid, I would have not been happy. I would have been super jealous or worried or worried. I would have been worried. For sure.
I'm surprised baby Carrie isn't more worried because she's the youngest. She's the one who's baby carrying the youngest, and she's not going to be the youngest anymore. And she's
But she
gonna,
thinks it's a dolly.
Baby. She's a dolly. Again, some of my favorite Carrie moments in this.
Yep.
Dolly.
She's cute.
Carrie, dolly.
Yes.
Carrie. Go,
I
Carrie,
didn't
Carrie.
even know that that's what she said.
I know. You really had to rewind it a few times.
What did she say?
Because I have it in the
Nine.
clips of Carrie's greatest moments.
Yeah.
It's in it.
Nine.
Dolly, Carrie, Dolly. It's one of my
With a
favorite Carrie
giant grin
moments.
on her
great.
face.
Top 10.
Would
That's
you?
great.
But I was also the youngest, and I think I
youngest.
think there's something about being the. Although Laura wasn't the youngest, but
Laura's not the youngest. See,
I think
Carrie's
there's
a
something
different-
about being the younger child of another child threatens that position in some way. I don't know what it is. Did you guys? Dean, you're the oldest of your tribe.
I was very excited. I'm told, and I don't remember specifically about this, but I was very excited about the birth of the second child, my brother, but very concerned about the birth a year later of my sister because it meant that my brother was going to get less attention. That was my brother reported back to me that after Meg had been home from the hospital for about a week, she reported that I came to her and said, "You can take her back now."
Do you know what my sister
you
said?
can take her back now so that Scott can get
Oh,
so my
that's
brother
so
Scott can
sweet,
get all the
Dean.
attention.
That
Like
is
two
so
is one thing,
sweet.
please, too much.
I don't
my
think my
gosh.
sister would have. That went on for a long time. I think, it's funny. I adore my sister as we are well into our adulthood, but as a little person, I was. It was like I was one of those kids, or like the bird that's trying to shove the little one out of the nest. I was that guy a little
So
bit.
a baby brother was one thing, but 3 kids, it's over the limit. It's over the line. Out she goes.
Right, so she had to go away, and I'm so glad I wasn't successful in shoving her.
Yeah. Well, you know what my sister said when
but
she.
at the time, it was a sort of a critical thing.
Yeah, well, of course, for a kid. I mean, the
fairly
kid
normal.
psychology is so fascinating. My sister apparently said when she met me in the hospital the first time, she looked at me and she said, "Can we return her for a blue one?" She wanted a blue baby somehow. I don't know why. I don't know what.
They come
Can
in
we trade her
blue.
for a blue
So,
one?
what's your birth order here? Are you're the second?
I'm the
There are
youngest.
2
Yeah,
children?
2. Just 2.
Okay, you're the second.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
youngest. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, I totally, throughout this whole episode, I totally understood Laura's plight. Like, there was nothing about her psychology that I didn't understand, even though we know, of course, Pa's going to love her. And of course, there's enough love to go around. There's not a shortage of love that will be going around. But I absolutely understood her fear
Wow.
and position.
Well, and
I think a lot of kids did.
we get to the seminal moment of this. I mean,
Yeah.
because I think let's look at the seminal moment of this
Yep.
when there is an asking for prayers, and there's the very powerful scene between Laura and Mary where Laura says she won't.
She won't pray for the baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Harsh.
Yeah. That's so at that age to be that intentional about that. That's as opposed to just doing it because it would be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But obviously in the interest of the plot and where this is going, Michael wrote this. He gave her this very strong moment. It's a really powerful moment, and the way he wrote her into it and her reasons why.
Yes.
Yeah,
were
yeah.
really strong.
And
It would've
her
been a big
redeeming
deal.
herself also. Right.
Because
Well,
in that
later.
house,
Later.
they're
Yeah.
very religious. They pray for things. That's what you do. So in that household and in the 1800s to go,
not
I'm
pray.
going to not pray for the baby to get better.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's huge. And for a kid to say, I'm going to, and this is the episode too where I wrote down 3 or 4 times, and Mary is right. Mary is also right again. Because Mary several times goes, No, of course he's still going to love us. What are you worried about the baby? No, of course we're going to pray for them. Why wouldn't you pray for the baby? What is the matter with you?
Right.
Yes, Mary repeatedly in this.
Mary
is
is
very
always
logical.
rational conscience in these things.
She's totally sensible,
Yeah.
and this is like,
Yeah,
are
yeah,
you
yeah,
crazy?
yeah,
What are you even
yeah.
talking about? Yes, I'm like, okay, Mary's right. Mary is totally right here.
Mary's right.
Always right.
So they
Mary's
take
always
the
right.
baby then to Mankato. I always wonder, like, why not Sleepy Eye? I guess Mankato the bigger city?
I think it's.
I think it was very fungible as to
which
which was
city
the
it was
bigger
gonna
city.
be.
I mean, I don't know that. Well, so where did the family, jumping forward, where did everybody, was it Mankato, Allison,
That's where they-
everyone went? It wasn't
I
Sleepy
think-
Eye. It was
Yeah,
Mankato.
Mankato. They're all
Mankato.
Sleepy Eye. They went
That was
for
the
like
big
I don't know,
city.
to get supplies.
Supplies, like
to
shopping.
work,
Yeah.
But Mankato was the city. Also, he's named Dr. Mayo. Is that like a Mayo clinic thing? Is that like a
Yeah.
joke? Is that, I don't know. what that
Good
is.
catch,
Yeah.
Allison. Good
This one, I thought that was
catch.
cute. Also, the very, very charming, handsome actor who plays the poor Dr. Mayo, who also can't do anything for them. He was in Dusty's Trail. He was one of the lead guys in Dusty's Trail. He was in Heathers with the lovely Pat Laberto. Yes, he was. He was Veronica's dad in Heathers. And
my
he was in
gosh.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Elvira's movie. So he had a marvelous career. Look him up on IMDb. That Dr. Mayo's in everything.
Well, he's a terrible doctor because he can't do squat for this baby.
And he tells him the
Well,
truth. He tells him that this happens a lot. But there's nothing.
I want to know about the nurse who comes off like the total bimbo.
Yeah, what's
She opens
wrong with
the
her?
Never
What?
did anything. It is her only credit. I'm afraid. I'm
Was
sorry.
that
it is
even
that
her
lady's
real
only
voice?
credit.
It
I
was
don't know,
so
but it was just like
odd.
so. It was a very odd
Random.
performance.
It's very random.
It's
and I
one
went,
line
"Who
and
is
it
this?"
sticks
I-
out like a sore thumb.
I looked her up and went, yeah, that was it. There's
Nothing.
literally no credits before or after that. That's the only thing she ever did. That's it.
She was the
Dr. Mayo's
doctor's
in
side
everything. He's
piece.
in everything.
My
That guy
earbud fell
worked-
out.
A maniac. He was in an episode of everything, and he was on Dusty's Trail, and he was on all these shows. But yeah, we have no idea who that woman is. That woman was in like one thing. She's
So weird.
wonder
Thank you
how
for
that casting
pointing that out because,
some
well,
mysterious walk-on thing, like
somebody knew somebody. That's all I'm going to say. Somebody knew
somebody's
somebody.
cousin.
Okay,
Yeah,
so then
I'm sorry if that person
No.
watches our podcast and she's still, she would still be
Sorry
with us
if you're
all
watching.
things
Maybe
being
she
normal.
had more dialogue and they cut it, and we don't know.
just-
was
It
better.
also
Such
sounded
an
like that voice was
odd-
looped. It didn't sound like a real
maybe.
voice. It sounded like a looped voice on. I don't know.
We
Maybe I'm
don't
giving
know
credit.
if someone finds out who is this mysterious woman who was the nurse,
Yeah.
because I looked her up. I was like, who is she?
It's so weird how it's just one line. It's unimportant. It's unimportant to the plot, and yet we're all talking about
Well,
it
it
right
gets
now.
him out of the
His
room.
role.
It gets him out.
Role.
It gets the doctor out of the room so that Ma and Pa
So he
can
can-
have the scene. I mean, that's what the purpose of the
And that scene when he tells them
Yeah.
that Pa goes in, he comes out, and it's so quiet. That, like, incidental music is like kept to a minimum. There's tons of music in part two. There's hardly any music in part
Yeah.
one. It's
And
really-
Ma's just looking out the window. We just see the back of her.
people so in a hurry, and the whole everyone's in a hurry, which gets picked up later by Ernest Borgnine when he's talking to Laura. He does it again about people in too much hurry to help one of God's creatures. They do the same exact line about people being in a hurry and passing by. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's a callback.
We'll
I
get
love
to
that
that
too.
next week.
But they,
Yeah.
when the hits the fan and that the child is gone, he went to sleep. There's no screaming. There's no histrionics. There's no big crying like on many other TV shows at that time would have had lots of hooting and hollering and music. It is so quiet, and they're crying, and then it's the 23rd Psalm, and he starts it, and then she joins in with him because this is it. This is all you can do. What can we do? This is it. This is all we know how to do.
Right.
It's we pray, we say this prayer. This is it because this is all we know how to do. And he's that's it.
And even her realize she knows that that baby is dead. As soon as the doctor calls Pa into the
straight.
room, she absolutely knows. And I love how he wrote what she says, which is just, he's gone to sleep, hasn't he? I mean, it's just so brutal. It's just so brutal. It's so brutal. Beautiful scene. And then, of course, imagine returning home and the kids see that they don't have a baby with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to
Very
say
stark.
Karen's portrayal of shock, because again, no hooting, no overacting, dramaticus, nothing. Well, her portrayal of just shock, okay, it's dead on. I don't know how she decided to do that. I've talked to her. Did she say, okay, medically, when someone is in full shock from something, this is what they do? Because
Yeah.
that's what she did. She is doing a perfect portrayal of someone who's gone into shock. And it's like, oh, wow.
It's weird. I had an experience once, and I was so mad at myself, but I could not help it. I was told a friend of mine had committed suicide. And it like happened. I had just seen this person the day before, and the next day I went to work, and my partner looked at me and he went, so-and-so hung himself last night. And my reaction was, I started laughing. I got a giant smile on my face, and I started giggling, and I couldn't understand what was happening.
You can't
I
process
couldn't understand it, and I was so mad at myself. I mean, it was exactly the opposite of what I wanted to do, and I think of that moment all the time because it was so out of my control. It was like my brain couldn't do anything, but it was just the polar opposite of what you want to be doing, and I couldn't help it. It was awful.
Your brain
Awful.
So you're thinking about what the appropriate. Wow, you get that information, and you're thinking about what's the appropriate response, and you can't summon it.
It was
Because
just
it's
so
your
shocking.
friend, and you just talked to him the day before.
It was so
your
shocking.
Brain went into overdrive, and you just.
I mean, you couldn't have written
Why
it that way. If I had written a story and did that as someone's response, you wouldn't believe it. Like, it would be unbelievable. But
like wires
yet
crossed.
people who have been in that situation would recognize that as authentic as well. It's not the way we think it's supposed to go, but our emotional, the range of emotion that we can experience, in particularly when we can't process something. I've heard of many times heard of this, the laughter reaction. It's not
awful.
because it's funny, it's just you can't deal.
no.
And
it
I
feels
think it's
terrible
very
as
real.
it's happening, because in my brain there was a separate conversation in my brain going, "Why are you laughing? Stop laughing!
Why are
Stop
you
laughing! Stop
laughing?
it!"
Well,
and
that
you
would
can't.
that would
Ugh,
that would be a
I
real
think-
reaction too.
Yeah, right. On the TV show This Is Us, when they finally show, there was this long tease of like, how did the father die? The father dies, the father dies. And then we find out how he dies. And it's a hospital scene where she's at the vending machines getting a snack, and she gets out a candy bar. And that's when the doctor, whoever, comes up to her and says, your husband died. And her reaction was, she just sort of opens the candy bar and starts eating it. And was like, okay, do you want some chocolate? Like, it was like, again, brain is in shock. Brain is in total, complete
Haven't
shock.
processed, can't process.
Which is so interesting to watch, and such an interesting choice that he chose that.
That's a fascinating choice to make that. Yes, to make
it a quiet, still, and also not just quiet and still, but accepting that this is what has happened. And Allison, exactly what you said. Like, what do we do now? Well, we say the prayer.
Right. And he starts it, and then she kind of goes, oh, we're going to do that? We're going to do that. I'll go with, he's doing that. Okay, I'll follow your lead. You're right. Well, let's do that. It just doesn't.
This is the place religiosity has played in our cultural life for centuries. Is when we can't explain something any other way, we go to
That's right.
this body of knowledge, this spirituality, to give shape to a moment
Right.
that we simply cannot explain.
Right. A greater purpose that we don't know, but the universe does.
Right.
Paul says, where is he? He's in heaven. He's with Jesus. He's gone. He's with heaven. Which, of course, then we have the horrible moment in part 2. Spoiler alert.
Well, no, but when they come home, the first moment for Laura, when she recognizes that
there's no baby in the wagon.
She
with
goes
them.
immediately to. She knows immediately, or she's dropping the blame on herself immediately in that situation.
Which is also
with the
child psychology 101.
Oh no. And she runs away.
Yeah.
It's very strong. It's very, very strong. It's wonderfully
horrifying.
done. It's so simple in its presentation, and the audience understands immediately.
Yeah. totally.
where she's gone with this. Now, given that this is now Mary knows, and Mary explains in a moment what happens, but for Ma and Pa, who this has been closed to them, the audience knows everything.
Right.
So we know as an audience immediately where this reaction is coming from.
Yeah.
And we're hurting for her because of it.
It's a very
it's
painful episode to
It-
watch.
it
I
really
found it very
is.
painful to watch because it is so well done, and these reactions to trauma and the worst thing imaginable are so real. Like I said, when you see a million movies and TV shows, if someone comes in and tells them their child is dead, the screaming and the yelling which some people do.
Of course.
But when they go out, you go, oh right.
Yeah, when they go
People
quiet.
sometimes don't make any noise at all. Oh man.
Now we'll skip forward to now. It's a few weeks later. They're at church. They're having picnics outside church.
Right.
This is my
Life
one.
goes on.
This
It's
is my.
1800s, man.
This is my little. I'm just gonna crash the party
where you're
here.
going here, this is a fascinating. As we come to the close of this part one, this is a fascinating set of moments.
Yes.
That occurred. So Pamela, how did that hit you? What did you?
Okay, so the first thing that happens is Mr. Edwards is sitting with Pa, and he goes like, "How's Carolyn?" And Pa goes, "Fine." And I was like, "What? Like what?" He goes, "Fine. It's Laura we're the most concerned about." And I was like, "Okay, wait, stop. Michael Landon, writer Michael Landon. Like, I totally get the purpose of this, which is she's a strong woman, which he even says she's a strong woman. And I understand the point of it is she's strong, she's forging forward, like she's getting on with life, like she's doing what she needs to do.
Right.
But for some reason, for him to write fine was like, what? She's not, no one's fine. Nobody could be fine. Like, she's not Carolyn, normal Carolyn. Like, I don't know why he wrote that. It really is a pet peeve that I watched that. And it really bothered me. He could have said she's coping, she's strong, she's getting through this. Laura's the one we're more concerned about. That legit. But the fine is like, no, stop it.
Like,
She's
like,
not.
under the circumstances, but again, 1800s, people's children died constantly.
Right.
So, and she's very strong. But yeah, it wouldn't have been fine. It would have been, she's very strong.
Yes. And so it was just the
leaning
word.
on God.
It's just the writer part of me was like, no, don't use that word. Fine is not the word to use. I don't know why he wrote that.
You could even say she's Caroline.
It just seemed so weirdly
Yeah,
insensitive
fine,
and not
fine,
realistic. It just was like, no, just say it a different way than just fine. But that's me. Other people might not have been bothered
and yet
by that.
I think that you or Alison just said, in some ways, saying that maybe not the perfect choice of words, but allows the focus to stay on Laura,
Right.
where the problem really is.
Yes.
And we head off into this day of play. Now, as I watched that, I'm thinking, my gut reaction was, and I'm not looking at this in the context of weeks have passed, I'm looking at minutes of screen time.
It
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's the next
that have
day.
passed.
Totally.
Like, everyone is just a little too happy
Happy.
here.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Like, how
a little
much time
too
has passed?
carefree.
How much time has passed?
Well, he says in that conversation with Edwards, it's been a few weeks. That's what he
Right,
says.
yes, right, exactly. And I get that, but still, for the audience, it's minutes.
Correct.
Yeah.
it felt like it was the next Sunday.
It really did. Well, the other thing that I thought watching Pa playing with his girls was, we've talked to so many people, bonnet heads, who have talked to us about how Little House is a safe space and how so many of these viewers and these fans had not great homes when they were kids or not great relationships with their fathers or their mother, blah, 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 blah. And I was watching, and it was the first time it really hit me watching this scene with Pa playing with his girls, of thinking of all the millions of people that watch this that were living vicariously through these moments in Little House on the Prairie, of seeing this father playing with his daughters, this unconditional love, and this relationship that he has with his children and his family that so many people do not have never had. And I don't know why all of a sudden my focus went right to that, but it did go right to that watching this scene.
It's a beautiful scene.
It
and they're
is.
not only their love, but one of the things that I got right away is like, yes, there's acting, but I have to tell when I watch it, the two girls and Michael,
They're playing.
their relationship, and speaking, I'm always saying, as a child actor, well, I got to tell you, all the other child actors say we hit the lottery by being a Little House on the Prairie, and you see here what a great show is to be on. That both these girls, both Melissas, are having a blast, and they are playing with Michael, and he did have that spirit of fun.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, there's a billion other TV shows where the kids playing with the lead male guy. No, they wouldn't have been. They'd been like, are we done? They're having a really good time, and it just comes right out of the screen. It's a beautiful, beautiful scene.
I agree.
Yep.
I
Yep.
agree. It's very special, and
So
I
touching.
can't run another bit. And Laura curls up on his chest, and this is the best. This is the
Flowers.
best day ever. I'll never forget this day, and which is again foreshadowing her thinking.
Right.
About
That she
what we
knows
haven't
she's
seen
about
yet.
to run
She's
away
about
and
to
that
go
this
do
is her
something.
last day with them.
Yeah,
right.
and she's of course, and she's had the scene with Reverend Alden about getting closer to God, and so she's processing.
I mean, but
all of
also
this.
like child psychology, right? Reverend Alden gives her this very metaphorical thing of like, well, the closer you are to God, the better he can hear
Right,
you,
and-
right?
and she takes it
or
literally.
listen or whatever that line. And she takes it literally, which of course she would. She's a
Of course,
child.
She's 7. She's 8. Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
a child.
He told a distraught 8-year-old who clearly is like off in the zone.
Yes.
A perfectly reasonable thing. But today's world, the Reverend might have gone, what exactly are you getting at, dear? What, could you go on about, let's explain that a little more thoroughly and find out what the heck she was on about. Because he's just going, oh, yeah, closer to God. Yeah,
I mean,
oops.
yeah,
Oops.
oops.
And how must he have felt? How must he have felt? Oh,
know.
man. Oh.
So is that where this episode, where are we saying this episode ends? There's a dispute.
I think it could end in several places. As I watched it, I'm thinking it ends. I mean, maybe it ends there, but I think to tip it towards what's coming, I thought it ended with the writing of the note and leaving at night, and then what's
Yes.
going to happen now. You thought it ended maybe the way the titling worked, as Laura's marching towards
Walking
the
to the mountain.
which totally makes sense that it would end there.
Just like, oh my God, now what? She's
Right.
run
So-
to another state.
In other
on-
words,
you know,
she leaves.
She
One
leaves.
way or the other, she's out.
She's
Yeah.
leaving.
And yes,
yeah. So yeah,
that mountain.
exactly.
There's a mountain in Minnesota. It's called a hill, technically. It's only 2,000 feet, and it's 7 hours away by car. It's
Oh,
a
boy.
week by foot, and
Oh,
you'd
gosh.
be almost in Canada. You'd
Oh,
have to walk
Lord.
to Canada near
Yeah.
Lake Superior to find a mountain.
Well,
Even a third.
When we've gone, Allison, when we've gone to Pepin,
Yeah.
which is Wisconsin, immediately
Way up
adjacent
there, yeah.
from Minnesota, the topography is so dramatically different as you go north out of Minneapolis, and you get into this beautiful. You can see the big woods there. You
Right.
get that
Yeah.
sense of the big woods when you're in Walnut Grove. There's no woods. There's
You
no
gotta run to
woods. There's
Canada.
no rise. There's nothing.
It's
It
just
is
open.
flat as a pancake.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
mountain. There's no mountain.
Yeah,
There's a mountain
but-
near the Canadian border. That's
But
kinda-
that
We'll
that
forgive them.
that space, that mountain, as she's marching
So
towards
gorgeous.
that, right in the same spot where the camp out would have been shot
Yes!
later. Yeah, I mean, it's such a strong ending. And what we're going to talk about next week, I think the hour we're going to end up talking about next week, if we, to the extent that we want to continue talking about this, I think is one of the most extraordinary hours of
It is.
Little
my
House ever.
It is.
Oscar winner Ernest freaking Borgnine.
Ernest
Thank you.
Borgnine.
Ah.
Listen, I won't fight if I spot Ernest Borgnine on top of a mountain someday, any day.
I will do whatever he says.
Yes. Note
Yeah.
to self: do whatever Ernest Borgnine says.
Yeah, he was just incredible. Just incredible.
That's next week, folks.
This hour is an elaborate, a very elaborate setup
Yes.
for the lesson that Laura is going to learn, and the beautiful way that lesson is taught
Yeah.
by Jonathan on the mountain. So what's coming will be beautiful, and we can't wait to talk about it.
And totally different than part 1. Completely different.
Oh my God.
It's a whole other thing. Music, it's a whole other, it's the rhythm, it's holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if people feel like we've wandered off into 20 different directions with our discussion of this episode. You're right, we have wandered off in 20 different directions. But it's all interesting stuff. And I think it's amazing, Pamela and Allison, Allison, that you drill down into the history.
Yeah.
And Pamela, you go right to the authenticity of the emotionality of this. And
Michael
a man
Landon's chest,
writes
yes.
this thing that just, that's so you, and Allison, and so you to go and drill down
She gives us
on all the
facts.
factoids.
I
think
mean, this
really
did
interesting.
happen all the time, but the Ingalls are definitely they're awfully up on things.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah, they
grow.
sure are. Very
Prescient,
progressive.
Prescient, yes. A little knowledge goes a little, projection backwards leaves room for information that they might not have had, but
and
makes
that's the
sense to
thing.
structure something.
It's a running theme. They didn't want to make the Ingalls backwards.
Right.
They weren't like that Mrs. People.
Oh, never,
they weren't
never, never.
backwards. And they clearly read. It's in the books and in the show. They're always read. So I think they went with, okay, they probably wouldn't have really known this, but if they were saying it was bad humors and miasma, they're going to sound like, they're terrible backwards people, and they're not. They're fairly well educated.
Right.
Mom was a teacher. So we're just going to go, if we have to go a couple inches further, that they completely know about germ theory, we're going to go there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this is a case of Michael is wanting to create a certain reality with the Ingalls family, and the Ingalls family is a device for the sharing of goodness, the processing of love and connectedness, and all of that. He's using all the tools in the toolbox
Right.
that
Yeah,
he's got to
And
do
they weren't-
that, and
they weren't dumb.
totally, and he frames it. He's framed it, that quest for understanding, for empathy, for connectedness. This kind of thing is exactly what drew him to this material.
And it's in the book because in the books, when they have the weird thing where everyone tells them that eating watermelon gives you malaria, like who
Wild.
came up with this? I do not. But that was like a thing apparently. And Laura writes about. Pa says, no, it doesn't. That's ridiculous. So even in the book, they tell us, Pa, don't know if he knew how malaria happened, but he went. It does not. It's not watermelons. That's the dumbest thing I ever. So yeah. So apparently, it is established the Ingalls did not. They didn't go for that. They would have gone for whatever the latest info was, because Pa at least knew you don't get malaria for watermelon.
Well, I think the reality is also, if they didn't have the information would have had to come from somewhere.
Right.
Somebody had to
And
like
someone
look
would
that
have to bring
Yeah.
this in. That's another character. That's more casting. That
Baker,
it's all.
somebody has
There's
to-
so many things that work into these decisions, that as to how you do this. But it's very powerful, and it's leading to something special. And Pamela, I think you should send us off for our week, and we'll be back next week.
All right, we leave it on a cliffhanger, everybody. We will see you next time for part 2 of The Lord is My Shepherd, one of the best episodes ever in the whole library of Little House on the Prairie.
Absolutely.
And, check us out on our socials, Little House 50 Podcast, our website, littlehouse50podcast.com. Like and subscribe. I never say that because I feel cheap saying that, but I'm going to say it. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Too.
Yeah.
Just feel like a cheap little hack saying that, but it's true. The more you like and the more you subscribe, the more the algorithm gets out there, and the more people discover us and watch us.
Yes.
So hey, like and subscribe.
It's a good thing.
It's a really good thing. So
good
thanks
thing.
for being here. Season 3, we're here, everybody, baby, and we'll see you next time. Bob, get the wig. Let's fly, guys. Germ free.
Well,
Well,
Ish.
yeah.